as we've mentioned before, we like to think of this podcast as a movie club. And so obviously coming on as a guest, you are a full-fledged member of the movie club. But in order to get into the Clubhouse, there are 3 questions that we like to ask everybody on their first time on the show. It kind of helps us to get to know you a little better. Our listeners get to know you a little better as well as we go into this conversation, kind of understand your taste and everything. With that in mind, I'm going to jump into my question. My question is, you are on a deserted island. You have a TV. You have a 42-inch flat screen.
Whoa. A
nice Blu-ray player, a nice sound bar. You got everything you need, and you've been granted the wish of the filmography from one person, either an actor or a director. I want to know, whose filmography are you taking with you on this island?
And I'm alone, right? I'm not taking alone. An actor or director with me.
You don't get to take them with you. No, it's just their filmography.
Okay. Unless the
holding them hostage.
A special feature.
Actually, we should add that asterisk to the question. Like, you could take them, but you can't take their filmography if you take them. So.
Oh man, then I have lots of different answers. I would probably, if I'm all alone, I mean, I don't know. That's rough. That changes things. I've just imagined myself sitting there with someone. If I'm alone watching the entire filmography, I'd probably still just go with Bill Murray and pretend that he's there with me anyways.
Yeah.
Not bad, Mr. Connors. You say this is your first lesson?
Yes, but my father was a piano mover, so.
If that includes SNL and all the goods.
It's everything.
Yeah, you get a lot of great stuff with that. Bill, that's a great pick.
You get a Merry Christmas.
You could just be living a literal Groundhog Day on your island, so you can just watch that.
You get Garfield.
Just torture myself.
Garfield, yes. No, I think that's awesome.
Osmosis Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of it.
Space Jam? Did someone say Space Jam already?
No. But yeah, that's the
What's the one where they like live inside his body and he has this disgusting zit that's pops?
Osmosis Jones.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the highbrow stuff like Wes Anderson, which is pretty fun as well. Like that's a great answer. I love it. We talk about it almost every time, but I love hearing people's answer because we've rarely had a repeat. I think we've had like one repeat before, and this is the first Bill Murray, and that's a great pick. Especially like if you're on an island and you want some, something kind of fun and whatever. But if you're in the mood for something serious, you throw on, Lost in Translation or whatever, and just crank up the volume and try to figure out what he whispers. Throw on those subtitles.
Exactly.
What's the one where I don't know. I'll look it up and you guys can keep talking. But he plays like a guy that does stuff. I don't know. I can't think of how to describe it.
How you said just watch it over and over. I think besides Labyrinth, which I have certainly watched more than any other movie. I always go back to Royal Tenenbaums too. I've watched it so many times. It is funny, but it's not funny how many times I've watched.
I think it's my favorite Wes Anderson. I love that movie. Like, it's so good. I love Royal Tenenbaums.
Mm-hmm. For my money, I think I go Life Aquatic, which ties in because David Bowie has such a large presence through Sue George in that, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Another full circle.
St. Vincent was the movie I was thinking of. That's a kind of an underrated Bill Murray that I love. It's got a cool way when he sings Bob Dylan at the end, listening to I think he sings Tangled Up in Blue or something at the end, listening to his headphones. Man. I just love that movie and that scene.
Not a word was spoke between us. There was a little risk involved. Everything up to that point has been left unresolved. Try imagining a place where it's always safe and warm. Come in, set up here, shelter from the storm.
There's just, I guess I'm sure you guys are used to it. When you just go off on the path, you just get all these other ways you can go. And have you guys seen Broken Flowers?
I have actually. Yeah.
I have not.
I haven't seen it.
I saw it once a long time ago, but I know I did see it.
It's good, weird, indie, Bill Murray, and it's a good one. I recommend it.
And I want to give a quick shout out, longtime friend of the pod, Joshua Johnston, Coffee and Cigarettes. He's the one that told me about that movie and had me watch it. I think it's also a great one that you get with the Bill Murray here. So
the Wu-Tang Clan.
All right, Wu-Tang Clan.
You're Jizza, the genius.
That's right.
And you're RZA,
a.k.a.
Bobby Digital.
Yeah, you know it's hip-hop, yo. You know it's hip-hop.
And you're Bill Murray. Bill Groundhog Day ghost-busting ass Murray.
Who you gonna call?
I know that. Just don't tell anybody,
man. That's a really great selection. I don't know how I even talked about like Ghostbusters or what about Bob. Like there are so many.
Zombieland, or he's in.
And as far as like movies that I've discovered recently, Little Shop of Horrors. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that, but his performance in that is so good. He's like the really crazed dental dude who just loves the pain of dentistry for some reason. So he and Steve Martin have these scenes together, and I don't know. That's a wonderful selection. I love it.
Yeah,
Bill Murray's great.
Well done. Love it. So I just went and saw Black Widow in the theaters on opening day, which that sounds like most of everyone here did. I don't know if you saw it opening day, Greydon, or if you've seen it at all. That's not really the point. At the end of the movie, right, so the after credits stinger, for some reason, a woman just like burst out sobbing in the after credits stinger. Like uncontrolled, like people were like turning and looking. And I went with Ethan from 15 Minute Marvel, so he can attest to this. But she just was like sitting kind of like by herself. Like the theater was relatively full, but she had this weird pocket of space around her. And she was like fully masked and just like sobbing uncontrollably. And I'm like, we know that she dies. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I couldn't figure, and it was really strange. And I was starting to get kind of worried about her. But then when it ended and everyone stood up, I looked over and she was fine. She was just walking out of the theater and not but it was like, it's really weird, which leads me to, I love that sort of stuff. That's like why, for me personally, like all that weirdness and just like the other people and the vibe and the energy in a theater is why I still love to go to theaters. And it's one of the reasons I like movies so much, because it can bring so many different people together. And not only did I experience a good movie, but I had this like weird little experience, and I'll always remember that, right? It's the first time I met Ethan in person, and it was a great movie with a weird ending. Not the movie weird, but the woman having a strange moment. So, Greydon, my
woman,
question
whoever
to
you are, like and subscribe.
Yeah,
like and subscribe.
I hope you're okay.
Please explain.
Like, I thought she might need to be checked on, but she seemed fine when it was all said and done. So,
also, I mean, I want to let you ask your question, but I'm just thinking about this woman who didn't see Endgame. And somehow in between the credits, like Black Widow's like, hey, I'll see you guys later. And then we go to the end credits sting. It's like, that would be such a shock. Wait, what? It's like,
maybe
what is that woman going through right now if she didn't know this?
Yeah, I don't,
crazy.
maybe she's going through the timeline in like timeline order, starting after
the last
everything
thing she
was
saw
over.
was Civil War. So
so she's just like,
she's like, I'm waiting for Black Widow.
Yeah. Another side rail. I did wonder how they're gonna like fit some of this stuff together with a callback like that in Black Widow. Like, how would you play that in timeline order? I guess you'd have to watch it after Civil War. But anyways, I digress. So my question to you, Greydon, is what favorite movie experiences can you think of? They don't have to be like in the theater or weird like that, but just some memorable experiences watching movies. I'd love to hear about it.
I don't know. It's so many just like come rushing to me all at once for whatever reason. Probably I think about going to see Star Wars Episode 1 when it came out in theaters.
Now this is pod racing.
Nice.
And like the whole thing around the Taco Bell like pogs that you could collect and all that stuff. I was so into that.
Oh my God.
So into that. So many Mace Windu's. And just being stoked, dude, like leaving the theater and literally ripping around the straw, like the paper around my straw, so that I had like a little Darth Maul. Just so stoked. Just so stoked
That's
about
rad.
it.
That's amazing.
I don't know. It's so I've had weird memorable situations, like, or good memorable situations that I've seen like some movies in like other countries, or just I think just seeing movies in not your hometown is always kind of memorable. Like, yes, I've seen a couple in like other countries, but even Matt, when we went and saw Hellboy in Moab, I remember that because it was just like this tiny dinky theater, like one screen maybe, and it was just kind of, I don't know, it was impromptu or it wasn't planned. Let's go to Moab and let's watch a movie. But just like stuff like that. So like impromptu, and that's always memorable to me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's right. Now I'm just picturing you planning a trip to Moab, driving past 2 national parks, a few state parks, and landing at a little theater to watch Hellboy of all movies.
I got the theater to myself.
Love it.
Hellboy 2.
That's right.
Ron Perlman. Let's go to Moab.
No shots to
Let's go
Hellboy
watch the new
all,
Guillermo del Toro movie.
Hellboy's awesome. And Hellboy 2, I think that's another one where his sequel is better than the original. But it's funny you mentioned Moab because Tyler and I were in California for work, and we went to this like kind of cool dome cinema theater when Age of Ultron came out.
Yeah.
And obviously I have my thoughts on the movie. I'm pretty pro on Ultron, but just that experience of just like being in California and going to this different movie. And like, I remember Avengers came out while we were in Kenya. We were like going to go see it just like in like Dubai on the way back. It's like, we have to see this. Like, this is the biggest thing.
Right.
But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was such a buildup. But Greydon, you and Matt were actually part of like one of my, like, it's memorable in the sense that you guys proved me wrong, because you guys wanted to go see Anchorman, and I had zero interest in that movie at all, which to this day I still don't know why. Like, I just thought it was going to be the dumbest thing in the world. I wasn't into
it either.
But you guys wanted me to take you to the theater, and I said I only would if you paid for my ticket, because I did not want to see that movie. And then I left, and I was like, that was so fucking good. That was such a funny movie. I don't know why I was like so just like out on it. I was like, that's not gonna be good at all. But yeah.
So I borrowed $8 from you, bought your ticket.
Exactly. How did we pay for his ticket? He
that's what I'm trying to think of now. Yeah, it's like
I cash in on all those Star Wars pogs.
No, that's awesome. I remember seeing Hellboy in Moab, and similar thing. Like, I think Kevin Smith, when the latest Star Wars came out, he like was on tour, and so he had to go to like some small town to go see Star Wars. He was just talking about how awesome it was, just like being in a community and seeing movies the way that community sees movies.
Yeah,
it's because that movie theater in Moab, like that's their only theater, so like that's their only way to see cool stuff, and so it was way cool to experience that. My question: we've done rounds where we call them unsung gems. Basically, where we cover movies that we feel are very underappreciated or that many people don't know about. So maybe people don't know about them, or we feel like people just don't like them, but we love them. Sure. And so what would you say is your biggest unsung gem?
There's only really one that comes to mind. That's Eagle vs. Shark by Taika Waititi.
Yeah, that's a great one.
You sucker. You better watch out, you fool. Yeah, hey, fool. Hey, fool. Sucker. You foolish sucker. Bit of what?
Hello?
Hello, is Eric there, please?
Speaking.
Hey, sucker.
Who is this?
This is the Piper, and I want to be paid.
So good.
So good. I remember when I first saw it, not to get too familial over here, but when I was living with you in the Avenues, and it was just randomly on TV, and a song came on from a musician I liked, Avenged Banhart, and so I immediately got sucked in, and I was just hooked, and then I watched it, and then after that, actually, I took a trip to Turkey, and it's a weird, the people that I met there, they loved the movie, and it just come out, and they gave me a copy of it, and I've just watched it so many times, and watched it with other people, and just been like, before Taika was doing Thor and doing all of what he's doing now, this is like basically his first movie, and it just like paves the way for his unique style and like dark but light all at the same time, and it's just perfect. I've watched it, I don't even know how many times, not as much as Labyrinth, but a lot.
Awesome. I love that movie. Yeah, I think that was like his first one. You know, I think when people talk about Taika, understandably, they kind of start with like What We Do in the Shadows, because I think that was kind of his first big hit. But
sure,
yeah, having Eagle versus Shark and then doing Boy, which is like, that was the last one I saw. It took me a while to get around to it, but that's another great movie. But Eagle versus Shark, like, just, I don't know, that movie's so good. Like, that's a great selection. Like, that's one that I would tell people when they love Taika. It's like, well, if you haven't seen this one yet, go back and see it. Like, it's worth checking out if you like his stuff.
That's one I need to see.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really good. Yeah,
it's so good.
That should have been your answer to both of ours. Seeing that, like, running into those people and getting that movie from random people in Turkey, and it being your Unsung Gem.
I retract.
Yeah,
I retract.
I appreciate that.
Just cut the clip just all together.
No, I like.
Don't bring up Moab and Hellboy.
And actually, we can go full circle even a little bit more. I saw Star Wars Episode 1 when it came out with my dad. We were on a hunting trip. We were in some small town somewhere in central Utah. I don't remember what it was. And I remember the theater was kind of like what you said in Moab, just had one screen. It was a really cool old brick building. You could tell it was like an old like playhouse or something. And I remember like they had columns on the outside of the building, and there was like posters in between those columns going like into the theater. And I just remember it was like a really cool setting in this really cool small little town. So I can tie that into your, small movie experience or small theater experience. Star Wars being your favorite movie experience. Yeah.
Were you hunting for the wilder people?
We were not. We were. I don't remember.
No?
I think it was actually a fishing trip. Now that I think about it, but
fair enough. I was seeing if we could Taika in there again. But has there ever? We don't usually really get into this discussion, but has there ever been a movie more anticipated than Episode 1? Like, I can't. Like, Endgame may have matched that, but that was a culmination of 22 other movies. This was like, oh, we're finally getting back into it. Like, I don't know.
I don't think so. Especially the marketing push too.
Yeah,
the marketing is insane.
That's what made me think of it, because like when Tyler's like, oh, we're in a small town, and even they had like banners and shit. Like I feel like every theater ever was like, we will have Episode 1, come here. Like it was just such a big movie, such a big push to see that. But prequels, not as bad as people think. Thank you, Arzu from Geeky Waffle, for informing us, educating us. I appreciate that. Also, thank you, Greydon, for answering the questions. Loved all those answers. I feel like I just knew that I would, but yeah, I think all those answers are awesome.